Welcome back to another video. Grace and I have just arrived literally as they were opening to a garden centre that is only 15 minutes away from us. It's called Beech Tree. We have never been before, which is very unusual because I thought I'd been to most of the garden centres in the area. It was recommended, if you saw my recent video where we had visitors to come and look around the veg plot, the old chap there who used to be a head gardener for a few different estates over the years, go back and have a look at that video if you don't know what I'm talking about. He recommended this one. It's his favourite one, so we're going to go in and see what they've got, because Grace would like some flowers for some of the graves that she takes care of at home, and I want some veggies and just a general look around really. You can never have too many plants.
Alright.
Certainly is. All the polytunnels, I bet they cost a pretty penny. Do you have a licence for that?
I don't know what they're carrying.
Oh, they've got a tea room as well. Right, I'm going to find the veggies. Oh, found them. Oh, there's people in.
Yeah, but there's a barrier there, so I couldn't get through.
Is that where that must be where they're working, and then they'll all come out.
Well, can I not just like run in and get some?
No.
Oh, here.
You see, flowers are just not. I wish I knew more about flowers. What are you saying?
I'm just learning the names.
You can teach me. Happy with all of these?
Yep.
I got some red salvia there as well. I'm going to put them in the front with Project Tomato. Good to go?
Yep.
These are Grace's flowers, all flowers, fantastic selection. We've got aubergine, sunflower and melon down there. I'll tell you more about them when we get home, but we got rather excited and bought a full boot full of plants there. I'll show you when we get home what they all are. Welcome back. Okay, as you can see, we made it back home. We are back in the veggie garden, but this is not where I'm going to be working today. I've decided, and Stephen has agreed, which I was very surprised at, to do tomato plants in the front garden borders. Normally we would put bedding plants or something in there like that, but in true Dig for Victory style, inspired completely by that and the fact that I've got a ton of tomatoes left, and I always want to use as many as I've got, we are going to fill the borders of the front garden with tomato plants, and I'm really excited about it. So I will show you later on. I've got all of the plants in the car except that Grace has taken hers out, so she can get on with the job that she wants to do today. I'm just going to leave the car open because otherwise it'll get like a greenhouse in there, because it's really hot today. And I will show you later on what veggie plants that we've got and why I've bought them, because some people have this idea that you should grow every single thing from seed and etc, but they're there for a reason. You know, some people don't have the space to do that, some people don't have the skills or the knowledge to do that. Even though I've got the space and to somewhat got the knowledge, and so I've got the ability to do it myself, I still buy plants in because for different reasons some things don't work as well as others. You see things that might be a little bit further on and think, oh, that's a good idea. Aubergines, I never ever get anywhere with growing my own aubergines. I have previously bought grafted aubergines. The company that I have bought them from was 2 years ago stopped doing to the public rather than they only do trade now, I think, so I couldn't buy from them anymore. So things like that, you know, there's always a reason. So no judgment here. If you buy plants in, I'm all for it, and just do what you need to do. For me personally, it would be too expensive to buy all of my plants in, and it just wouldn't be worthwhile. But if you only grow one or two and you think, you know what, I'm just going to buy them in instead of having all of the hassle and all of the extras of doing things from seed that might not always work, then go for it. So today we're going to be working in a totally different location than you're used to seeing. That's going to be our front garden. I'm going to get a wheelbarrow full of tomatoes. I watered them all earlier this morning because they were looking a little bit sad with it being so hot yesterday, and I didn't get to water them like I would have normally. So they are hopefully picking up. I'm going to get the wheelbarrow full and walk around the front, and you guys can have a look at the process out there and see what it looks like at the end. Right, we've got the wheelbarrow loaded up. There's actually a tomato that I noticed, a plant that's already got a couple of fruits on it. Jack's also going to grab me a wheelbarrow full of muck because I want to make it as heavy feeding for them as possible. So this is the front garden, and I've got 10 plants marked out here, which I think that looks like some good spacing. So if we do 10 on each side, that's an additional 20 tomato plants that I can make space for, because I'll put another load down here. Maybe have to be careful with the gate opening, but I've also got in front of the windows if I want to, though that might block the view from the window. But anyway, I don't even know if I've got enough plants. That's brilliant. Right, so the plan is, with this muck that Jack's just brought me, I've started making some holes where the tomatoes are going to go, well, digging along. There's quite a lot of concrete, cement, bricks, whatever it might be. These aren't the best quality deep holes that they could be, so I'm going to fill them with compost just from the garden. I'm actually not going to use any shop bought compost. I thought I was going to, but I'm just going to use this, and then that'll tidy up how this looks as well. I'll just put a bit in the bottom, and then once all the tomatoes are in, I'll fill the edges with compost too. But this is the plan for now. This first tomato going in is a golden, I think the Golden Delight. So I'm just going to take off the lower stems, and also I'm just going to pinch out from the main stem and the leaves, make sure there's nothing, because these are some quite significant extra growth that we don't want. We want all of the growth to go into these trusses where the flowers are, and making us some food. Where's my little here? Right, so this is the combination of muck. You can hear all of the stones that are in there. I'm just going to try my hardest, and then I'm going to fill it over with some muck that I've just put here. Make a mess we can just sweep up at the end. Some more muck. And that's the plan all along. And what I'm going to do is fill all across here with muck as well. Put some of this surface compost back on that was dug out. There we go. Oh, that leaf is already gone, so I'm taking that off too. Put that in the next hole. And that's the first one done. It doesn't look much on the camera, but this has taken quite a while to get in. The further up towards the lane that I went, the easier it was on the ground. But further down here was a lot more concrete and things, so it'll be interesting to see how they grow compared to the ones over there nearer the wall. Now, there are a couple that you can see. So these are the potato leaf varieties, which are called Bloody Butcher. Now this one in particular has struggled with, it wasn't getting watered in the pot as well as the rest for some reason. It must have been covered up by something. So I've given them a good water, and Jack's just brought me another watering can full there to do these last few. The only thing is, I have just discovered, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's a lot of bee or wasp activity. I think that there is a wasp underneath. I think I've disturbed it there, where next to the shovel. So I'm going to be very careful because they're all around my legs. But I think I can see at least 4 that I've really annoyed. I think the bees are not wasps. So I'll just have to be super careful and water from this side for these ones. Try not to disturb them anymore. Didn't mean to do that if that's what's happened, of course. But yeah, the first one's looking good. So now Grace has brought me out the other tomatoes for this side. So she's just brought a selection from the greenhouse, and we'll get those in and hopefully not discover any more bees or wasps. So just going to have a little bit of a breather, and I thought I'd quickly show you what we got from the garden centre this morning. Grace's flowers are all in. I'll do that on the plot tour that's coming up. I'll show you what all of those look like. But these are the veggies. There's a couple of flowers in mine, which is unusual for me. But like I say, I do appreciate them. I just don't know much about them. And you can't eat all the flowers. You can eat some of them, but not all of them. So let's have a look at what I've got, and then I can explain what the plan is with them. I'm just having a sit down while I do this. So we've got 3 aubergine here. These were the smaller ones, $1.75 each, or I can't remember how many it was for 10. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I also got over there, the middle one is also aubergine, and that is clearly a little bit further on. Those bigger pots were 3 for £10. Now, you may have heard me recently talk about tarragon on one of the videos. It's one of my most favourite herbs. There's different types, French and Russian I think are the ones I'm aware of. And this, that is the name of this one. How do you even say that? It'll be silent P, I'm guessing. And I presume it's Russian. I will do my homework, I haven't yet, but I will do some digging. The Russian is easier, more hardy, but the French is more tasty. That's my understanding. Is that your understanding? Just incidentally on the aubergine, so previously I've bought grafted aubergine. Oh, I didn't see that on the... these aren't grafted. Certainly don't look at that. I can see anywhere there would be, you would see on the stem. So I'm curious as to how these will work out, because I have grown aubergine from seed, and they haven't really worked out. They haven't really done very well for me. So I'll give these some space this year and let's see how they do. They'll all be grown undercover. They're flowers, I'll come to those shortly, but I've got two types of sweet corn. This one upside down is baby sweet corn, which we love in stir fries and things, and this is a full-size sweet corn called extra sweet. My sweet corn has been killed off with the heat that we've had. I've also got some extra broad beans. I love broad beans, I'm the only one, and mine are looking a little bit unhappy at the moment. You will see that again on the plot tour coming up, so I'll show you the plan for these. I do have some Brussels sprout seeds, but just in case I've also bought these, because these trays were £2.50 each. Now that is quite expensive compared to another garden centre that I go to, but the plants look really good. Trying to navigate around these. There's a train and a strimmer. So we also got some red cabbage because we love red cabbage. Oh, and there's a siren. It's so quiet living in the countryside. Runner beans, I've got a plan for these, and climbing French beans. I didn't get any dwarf. I want the climbing ones. The dwarf ones will catch up quite quickly, but the climbing ones I like to give them a bit of a head start. I am going to put some seeds in as well, but again I just couldn't resist when I saw them, and just some more broad beans to go with the other ones, which are also bunyids as well. I do like Bunyids Exhibition. I believe they're an old Victorian variety. So I'll either add these to the ones that I've got, or I'll get rid of the ones that I've got and put these in fresh. The ones that I've got were, I can't remember if I overwintered them, but they did get dried out and they seem to be suffering. Anyway, we'll see again on the plot tour. Now the plants, these were in the garden centre, have literally just been potted up, so I won't be planting these quickly. You may have seen the sign that I showed you when we were doing the little walk around of them just being potted up, so it's nice that they tell you. We've also got some dahlia. I thought dahlias were like tubers. You'll have to tell me, are we going to get flowers off these this year, or will it be next year? And then over here I've got some red salvia, which if I remember rightly, I'm sure that these are edible, or part of them are. Might even be some sort of inducing, I'm sure it's something like makes you feel drunk, or it's anyway. More marigolds and more dahlias. So that's the most plants that I've got in a while. I do grow marigolds myself. I haven't got any seeds in this year, so that's why I bought those, and these will go outside in the front where you saw those tomatoes, and I might put one or two in the polytunnel as well. I'm not sure where to put the dahlias, so if you've got any ideas, do let me know, because I'm not sure what to expect from them. Grace wanted to get this huge sunflower, and taking such an interest in the garden, I would never say no. Again, you saw this in the shadow there, this aubergine that's growing a lot bigger, and I also couldn't resist another melon. I do have my own melons growing. But I couldn't resist this one. And that's it. That's what I got from the garden centre. So what I'm going to do at the minute, I've got some of these. The good thing about when you go into the garden centre and buy in all of these little plants is that you get all of the extra trays. And what I'm going to use these for, which were recently from some flowers that Grace, yet again it was Grace that wanted the flowers, she gave me these tubs. She doesn't do anything from seed at the moment, and these will be a perfect depth and a perfect width, I thought, of spacing for beans. So I've got quite a lot of beans that I want to get in today. It's the end of May. I'm pretty sure our last frost has passed. Having said that, I've just looked on the app, the BBC weather app for our area, and it's due to get down to 2 tomorrow. Is that because I've put those bloomin' tomatoes in at the front? So I might have to fleece them. We are we have had a frost at the end of May previously. Our last frost is usually the middle of May, that's when the date is. So it's not unheard of, but you know, it's typical, you try and get away with these things. So if the 2 degrees Celsius doesn't change, I will have to I'll have to fleece over those tomatoes and the tomatoes that I've got outside as well. I don't think I've got anything else that's frost tender out. Now, the reason that I've hung fire with the beans is for that reason, because previously I've been caught out with my beans. I did not realise they were so frost tender that even a little bit of frost will just kill them off, and I have lost loads of beans in the past to that. So I said this year I'm hanging on till really late, and hopefully we'll get a really good harvest. I've got an idea, another one. Stephen's sick of me saying I've had an idea, which I do need Stephen's help for. It's a 2-person job and it's all about beans. So I'm going to get some of those seeds in today. I won't do that on this video. I'll do a plot tour, which is what I promised as well. So that'll be coming out very soon. Hopefully I'll get one in over this weekend while it's lovely over the bank holiday weekend. And then I'll also show you, it'll either be on the plot tour because we'll have done it, or it'll be a separate video, what my plan is for the beans and a few of the ideas that I've had. He said yes to the tomatoes in the front garden. I'm not sure if he's going to say yes to the next ones. He should do. We'll see. Right, I need to get back out and get finished out there. So Grace and I are just working our way along. We've put canes in each tomato plant and we're just working our way along with a little bit of twine, just from Wilko's, cheap twine, and tying each one so it's still got a bit of room to grow. If you tie it underneath an arm, as I call them, a leaf, then it gives it a bit of strength. If you do it too high up, then it can fall out, and we're doing 2 per plant at the moment. And then as they grow we'll do more, just to give them a bit of rigidity, because I don't know how windy it's going to be out here in the front garden. They've all been watered, and I've just ordered some cane toppers for these canes, just so nobody puts their eye out on them. I normally use sort of the Actimel bottles, you know, those little yogurt drink bottles turned upside down and put on the top, but I do find that they blow off and I think it'll be a bit more exposed out here. So that's the plan for now, and then I think we're about done. The cane toppers will come tomorrow, so hopefully nobody will put their eye out in the meantime. You just nearly did? Oh my goodness. A couple more to do and then that is a good job done. Well, that's done. I'm just picking up the tools and then I'll show you around what we've done, although you've seen it pretty much already. And there's 1 or 2 other things to show you. So these canes here, as you can see, could quite easily put somebody's eye out. So I'll definitely get the toppers for those, but let's go this way around. I'm going to turn the camera around and let's have a little look at some of the plants that we've got out here. So next to the gates, you can see all the tomato plants are happily in now. Try to tidy up as best as you can, but when you're working with big lumps of muck, sometimes they get all over. Anyway, this here, does anybody know what this is just by looking at it? This is all fresh growth, the greener parts this year, compared to this bit on which you can see is a bit more yellowing. It's sage. I need to take some cuttings and to calm this down a bit, because last year it was a nice big sage bush. This year it's just becoming a little bit of a thug and taking over completely. And the other thing that I thought would be nice to show you is the peonies. How happy are they looking? So these are here for a good few weeks of the year and then they just die back. They are no bother whatsoever. They just turn up, full bloom, and then die back. There's 2 of them. There's one there and another one just there. This one here is a little bit further behind because it's more in the shade. And then the back of here is just it's like a little secret garden. We haven't got anything in here, to be honest. It was all overgrown and covered up and we just never really come out here. But having the tomatoes out the front I think will make a difference, so we might end up doing a little bit more out the front. We've got the climbing roses over the front door there. I'm just careful I don't put my own eye out walking past here. And then in here we've got daffodils that have died back. I cannot remember what this is. And what I've done is the spare compost manure that I had, I've just tipped it here and I'm going to cover the whole thing in manure and as you can see, this has recently been weeded. We've left some of the grass here because there's other things growing. I'm not too sure what they are. I think they're gladioli? As you can tell, I'm not up on flowers, definitely veggies. I enjoy the flowers, and to be honest, I'm getting into them a lot more, so we'll see as the years go on what else we do. But that's it in the front garden for now. So I'm really pleased with what we've achieved. I'm hoping that these tomatoes are going to give us loads and loads of produce. People often say, well, what are you going to do with it all? That's far too many tomato plants for one family. Well, if you're growing tomatoes to be self-sufficient for the year, eating them fresh when they're coming out fresh and then preserving them through the winter, it's nowhere near enough plants, to be honest. We'll see. We'll have a count. There's 18 that I've just put in here now, and then we'll have a count of how many we've got in total. And then we can have a look over the next 12 months how long they last us. We do eat a lot of fresh tomatoes when they come out. I know not everybody enjoys tomatoes fresh or cooked, but I love them both ways. Anyway, I'll probably wrap that up here. I'm going to take my wheelbarrow in. The kids have already helped by taking some of the tools in, and the watering can. They've been bringing the watering can out for me because a big job for one person, so I do appreciate their help, especially on the weekends, which is when they tend to come out and help most. So thank you for watching. We've managed so far to avoid the bees. I'm keeping one eye on them while I'm talking to you, so I hope I haven't disturbed them too much. I'm going to close the gates and go and get a nice cold drink, because it might not look it on the camera, but I am absolutely roasting. It's catch-22. You put a hat on thinking it's going to help with the brightness and keep you cool, but then I'm head sweating terribly underneath it. So on that overshare, I'll bid you good day. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, a like, a comment, whatever you feel like doing, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.